So in this video, I'm going to talk about a strategy that we use, which is called dummy listings. Now, a dummy listing strategy is really important to have alongside um, your standard bookings. And I'll show you what I mean right now. So this is a dummy listing, and the dummy listing purpose is for direct longer term bookings. Okay, so the way we do this, and I'll show you the difference between a dummy listing and our standard listings, is the dummy listing is going to be inquire only. Okay, so nobody can instant book it, they can only inquire for the property. And this way, once they inquire for the property, it means that they have to have a conversation with us, because obviously the inquiry comes through as a message, we message back, and when we're having those conversations, that's when we can look to push these people or companies, whoever it is talking to us through the OTAs, towards our website, or towards our website for our phone number to give us a call, and that way we can turn them direct. If not, we can also get the details from them through the messages, and then we can call them to turn the booking direct, because obviously then we're saving 15% fees. So as you'll see here, let me just move myself. So as you'll see down here, okay, the availability that we have is a minimum of 18 nights. So somebody looking for 17 nights will not be able to see this listing. So it's minimum 18 nights, and we suggest you do that with all of your listings. This isn't, by the way, when I talk about dummy listing, this is an additional listing for the same property. So one property will have two different listings. Okay, and this will not affect your calendar management in terms of double bookings, because this one is inquiry only. Okay, so you can either take the booking or you can't take the booking, but it will push for people who are looking for longer term stays. So 18 nights minimum, and obviously up to 365, that'd be beautiful if someone booked for a whole year. And you see the pricing here. The pricing is obviously quite high. So we do this purposefully so that we can add this monthly discount here. So at £200 a night, let's get this up. Times 30, 6 grand. 6 grand for this property. Where's the camera? 6 grand for this property for 3 beds in this area would be ridiculous. It'd be the best performing Airbnb by a country mile anywhere within the area. And it's just, obviously nobody's going to really book that for 6 grand. So we add, but the only reason it's to the £200 is up there for that nightly rate is so that we can have such a large monthly discount of 33% that then it works out to what the profit that we actually want. Okay, so let me put that into other words. So if we got £200 times 30, which is obviously the average month, it's obviously 6 grand, like we said. Okay, the 33% discount that we add on here, okay, so let's do that, means that we would actually generate £4,620 for the property. Now we know that if we had made £4,620 for this rent to rent, that we'd be in a profit of nearly two grand. Okay, which is obviously extremely good. Of course, you have to take into account the OTA fees, so there'll be 15% for the OTA fees. So actually, let's put that in there now. So we generate just under £4,000 for the month for this property, this 3 bed, and we know that would be a £1,500 profit because of our bills, our rent calculated together, and but obviously subtracted from that revenue of 3,900, then we would be in around £1,500 profit. So that we're really happy with that, of course. And it means it obviously costs you nothing to have a dummy listing to push for direct bookings and direct inquiries. So it's definitely worth having. And obviously when you're adding, to have such a high nightly rate and then you're adding such a large discount, it obviously looks a lot more incentivizing for somebody looking to book. They're going, wow, that's a discount and a half. Like somebody's put 33% discount on the monthly rate. It looks good. So, and it will also push you towards the top of the further up the algorithm because of how large that discount is. So it's listed these little tactics, little tips, little tricks that will help you sort of generate more booking leads. So yeah, everything else is exactly the same about the listing. So Instabook turned off, only manually accept or decline bookings. Okay, everything else is exactly the same. This pricing never changes. Doesn't matter what month. You can test different stuff, but in terms of every single night, if that's a Monday, Tuesday, or a Saturday, Sunday, every night's going to be £200. Okay, so now we look at the difference between the dummy listing and this listing. So we can see on this listing, which is our standard listing, which is connected to the price slabs like Niall would have mentioned. So this one's connected to the price slabs. The nightly rate will differ depending on if it's a weekend, if it's the summer, the seasons, everything. So, and this is instant book. So they run alongside each other. So this is same property, two different listings. Okay. So guests can book automatically. Except from that is exactly the same. Except the pricing here is controlled by price slabs, and this is not being pushed directly for longer term bookings, whilst this one is primarily and only purpose is for longer term bookings. Okay, so they run well next to each other, of course, as one's inquiry only and one's instant book. So you might have a message from somebody in there, and then you can turn it direct as well. And that's where they're a good way of sort of building up your CRM or your spreadsheets of different businesses who start to approach you, inquire about your listings, and build them into a spreadsheet to then directly outreach them later on down the line. And that's how we've built up our B2B client basis, along with obviously the outreach methods that Niall mentioned in his video about direct bookings, which you'll see.